Almost 500,000 people, 3/4 of the total number of people in jails, have not been convicted of a crime. Of these, 90%, the poorest Americans with the fewest resources, remain incarcerated because they simply cannot afford bail. The YouTube original documentary Trapped: Cash Bail in America explores the movement to end the economic and racial inequities of cash bail. And we have a clip that we'd like you to take a listen to.
11 months and 4 days. You know, it did a lot to me, right? And for a lot of people, 11 months and
we see too many people go through that, and in response to the coronavirus pandemic, California eliminated cash bail for most low-level offenses. And this allowed thousands of defendants to await trial at home rather than in crowded jails. But so much more work still needs to be done. So today we're joined by the producer and director of the film Trapped: Cash Bail in America, Chris L. Jenkins. Chris, I'm so glad you could join us today to talk about this important crisis. In our last segment, we just talked about one man who is still in jail. He's never posted bail. He's been there for 7 years. Your film doesn't explore that particular case, but it does explore the cash bail system here in the United States. Can you explain what cash bail is and why, as you say, it's an inherently unjust practice?
Sure thing, and thanks for having me this evening. I mean, essentially what the cash bail system does, and when activists talk about cash bail, essentially what they mean is the amount of money that you need to pay in order to get out of jail, in order to fight your case after you've been arrested. So this is before that you've gone to trial, before you've even had disposition in the court. This is simply the amount of money that you need in order to get out of jail to fight your case and go through the necessary American system of jurisprudence of fighting your case from a position of strength. What happens to millions of people every year, 500,000 people on any given day, is that there are so many people who cannot pay their bail amounts in order to fight their cases and be able to find witnesses and to talk with their lawyers. And so essentially what we have in this country is these millions of people who are in jail only because they can't pay, and very often lose their jobs, lose their housing. They have children, their children are put in foster care simply because they can't pay their bail amounts. And the important thing to keep in mind in these situations is that he's really often talking about people who are in for low-level misdemeanors and nonviolent felonies. Most people in this country are arrested and come before the court for misdemeanors and nonviolent offenses. And so very often, many of these people who we're talking about are really been accused of crimes of poverty, for burglary, for breaking and entering, for passing bad checks. And so these are the people that generally advocates are talking about when they say that people are in jail only because they can't pay their small bail amounts, and leads to very, disproportionately poor outcomes for these folks, because generally speaking, they have to plead guilty in order to get out of jail, instead of going through the entire jurisprudence system where they can actually fight their case from a position of strength.
Chris, it is quite a project that you have undertaken in showing us insights about what's going on, and the fact that we're talking about it, it's a miscarriage of justice. It's the new Jim Crow law, as many people have deemed it, the way this goes on. We have another clip of this showing how typical it is of judges in treating people of color. Can we show that right now?
Study after study after study has shown that African Americans and people of color are 25% more likely to be detained because of cash bail, and they are significantly, statistically, much more likely to receive higher bail.
That's where the inequity happens. That's where the injustice happens, and that's why the American cash bail system, right, is inexcusable and unconstitutional as it's been practiced.
You know, Chris, I was struck earlier by something you said, that because so many people can't meet the cash bail, their children are put into foster care. And let's be clear, when you usually face the judge and he asks you, what are you putting up for bail? Well, people who own homes, which would be predominantly a lot of white Americans who own homes, they can put up that money or they can get it from someone. But in this case, marginalized citizens, black and brown citizens who do not have that money, their children suffer and they suffer. Your film talks about the constitutional dimensions of all of this. And so what can we glean from this issue? Can you explain?
Sure thing. I mean, lots of ways to think about this, and you mentioned the constitutional dimensions. For most people who aren't constitutional scholars, they may not know that, for example, in the Eighth Amendment guarantees the right to affordable bail. Essentially, that the Eighth Amendment says that bail should not be excessive. And essentially, what many constitutional scholars have said is that excessive means that doesn't mean that you don't necessarily have to pay something, but it should not be more than you can afford. And so one of the examples I like to give very often when I talk about this is that two people who are accused of the same crime and may have the same backgrounds, maybe have never been accused of a crime before, and they both become before the court and they're accused of the exact same crime. The person who has $500 in the bank and the person who does not have $500 in the bank will have two different outcomes for whether they can leave jail or not. And so the question isn't so much about whether they are guilty or innocent or whether they are a flight risk or whether they're dangerous. The only issue before the court very often is how much money they have, even if they are accused of the same exact crime. So the issue between these two people is not at all whether they are more dangerous or more of a flight risk, but simply that whether they have more money than the other person. And that's where the inequity happens. And more often than not, African Americans tend to be poorer than white Americans, and so they are more often likely to be able to afford their bails. But even in situations where there is a black person and a white person before the court for the exact same crime, very often judges will deem that black person or brown person more dangerous than the white person and give that black person a bail amount that's either higher than the white person, or they will give that black person or brown person a bail amount that they did not give a white person. So that's where the inequity happens. Not only in terms of how much money you have in your pocket versus rich versus poor, but also the difference between black, brown, and white. And that's where the inequities happen, generally speaking, in this country every day. And so what you have is a series of activists around the country who are fighting for the issues that we're talking about, where they're trying to either make sure that people who come before the court have the same chance of getting their bail amounts reduced as someone who has more money than them. And you also have situations like in Illinois where they're eliminating the use of cash bail 100%. And so that's what the kind of movement that's going on these days around the country, whether like you mentioned California, in New York, North Carolina, and other places, Ohio. There is truly a movement going on where there are activists around the country who are really fighting for the issues of people like William, who you saw earlier in our clip, a woman named Brianna, who's featured in our film, who's a mother of two, and she had to put her two children with her parents. She was lucky enough not to have to put them in foster care. But there are millions of people every year, black, white, women, men, who are experiencing this every single day. And there's a true movement to actually try to free these folks and bring some equity to the system.
So, Chris, beyond the color barrier, which is so apparent about black and brown people getting more of these outrageous things happening to them because of cash bail, you did mention there were whites as well. So it's also a case of the marginalized and the forgotten, and there are poor whites out there as well who cannot afford the bail.
Right.
We've talked about low-level crime so far, nonviolent offenders, but what about violent offenders accused of heinous acts? Or domestic violence victims who may be at risk by abusers? How do you cover that in this exploratory film about trapped cash bail?
It's a great question. I mean, for example, William, who was the person that we saw in the beginning of the clip, he was accused of a weapons violation, a weapons charge of a possession of a handgun, and he had not been arrested or convicted of any crimes before that. I think in situations like that, judges are allowed to take cases on a case-by-case basis. So William, for example, who was charged with a somewhat violent offense of having a weapon, of being in possession of a weapon, he had never been before the court at all before, and so the judge did not take anything in Williams' background into account. Williams was a hardworking man who was about to go to college, who had just had the birth of his son, happened a few days before he was arrested, and there was never any latitude that judges were able to give someone like William. They just threw him into jail and gave him a high bail that he was never able to afford. Only thing that I think many people are saying is that in situations that you mentioned, more complicated situations where there are more dangerous situations because of either someone's background or because of the offense they've been accused of, judges should be able to have some latitude there. But in many, many, many cases, what we're talking about is nonviolent offenses, crimes of poverty, and that's where so many people are ensnared in this trap.
Yeah, clearly, this is a great work that you've done. Trapped Cash Bail in America is what it's called. Chris L. Jenkins, you are the director and producer of this. We thank you for bringing this to the world's attention as we try to seek some way of remedying this outrageous misfortune of criminal justice. Thank you, sir.